At first, we came to visit Tony when he moved out here and started planting, and I think we parked at his front door.
We started with 2 acres and a house out in the middle of a field.
Every time we came, it was like 1,000 more plants that were planted.
Our next door neighbors decided to move, and we were able to get their house and their 5 acres.
His lust for plants belied the size of his property, and every time we came up, there was something added, some creek bed added, or some neighbor's house added.
Over the period of years, we just kept running away other neighbors, and so we're, after several more pieces, we're up to 28 acres now, and that's a lot of plants and a lot of plants to take care of. We didn't really have any funding when we started, and because we wanted to share, we started an adjacent mail order nursery that we named Plant Delights Nursery. And that is what funds the Botanic Garden, and then it takes the plants that we trial in the Botanic Garden that really do have great garden value, and then propagates those and makes those available to gardeners around the world. And this is our crinum trial, so these are actually, this is one of our seedlings that we're evaluating now. So we have pretty much every crinum that exists, with very few exceptions. And so when we find a new seedling, we can immediately compare it to everything and say, yes, it's better, or no, it's not. And these are insanely fragrant. They're really that amazing.
Tony Avent, when he started Juniper Level Botanic Garden, had really been inspired by J.C. Ralston, who was one of his professors and a real mentor to Tony. And where the J.C. Ralston Arboretum focused on trees and shrubs, woody plants as an arboretum, Tony took a much stronger focus in the herbaceous plants, the perennials, and that's where he built his nursery. But really, his garden, Juniper Level Botanic Garden, always paralleled the J.C. Ralston Arboretum in terms of what we were trying to do, how we were trying to learn more about the plants so we could really pass that on to people.
We've always felt like we were a sister institution to the J.C. Ralston Arboretum. J.C. was a professor. He came the same year I started at NC State, him as a professor, me as a young student. And our missions are very similar.
There's always been this symbiosis of ideas, of plants, of education, of staff members, where we've really supported each other in our growth.
We started the garden 34 years ago with the idea of just collecting as many plants as we could. We're currently getting close to 30,000 different type of plants. They're called taxa.
What separates a botanic garden from a public park are the records. It's the information behind the plants. Plants are wonderful and we love them, but knowing where they came from, a little bit more about them, the history, the science behind there is what makes them important down the road, where, you know, whether it's restoring plants to habitat, to understanding the breeding potential. Tony's records are so deep, and it's really because he's wanted to learn about plants all his life, and there's nothing he likes more than teaching people about it.
They're almost finished now. and we've been breeding these for different colors. So we have a lot that are, yellow is more typical, but we've been breeding, we have a lot that are red and yellow, which are really quite amazing. Nobody else breeds these. We're probably the only people in the world that have bred these. It's a botanic garden that focuses on ex-situ plant conservation. So that means conserving plants, especially rare plants, outside of their natural habitat. So a lot of people focus on in situ, which means preserving plants where they grow today. But for us, if you believe that climate is changing and always has changed and always will continue to change, that's actually not a very effective method. So we feel to bring those plants into the garden, propagate those plants, and share and spread them worldwide. That way we're assured we will find a place where those plants will survive and thrive.
This is one of my favorite cyclamens. When this blooms in the winter time, it really is just very gentle and cute.
We started doing open houses 34 years ago. We started out with a spring, then we added a summer, then a fall, and the last one we added was the winter.
We've been coming here since the place started.
Since he moved here 30 years ago or whatever, yeah.
And it is my very favorite garden in the whole country.
It's got stuff here that no one else has, frankly. You can see things here that you're not going to see anyplace else.
That's right.
Dave is currently the president of the Tri-State Hostas Society, but my interest, his is hostas, mine is probably ferns.
We got some very happy spring keepers that live in here.
I bet you frogs like to live in here or something.
Kids go out, it's like, let's find a weed, or let's find an insect, and they just fall in love with it. It's a tranquil, peaceful thing, and the more you can connect with nature, whether it's a garden or in the woods walking around, it's got to give you a different perspective on life.
I am 12 years old, and I really like coming to places like these because there's just so many different kinds of cool flowers and unique plants. And so far my favorite one is a combination of iris and a different kind of flower I can't remember, but it looks like 3 flowers in one. And I think it's called Lion King because all the flowers have all like the main colors of like the story from Lion King, and it's very cool.
I've been coming here since last year, and whenever it's open, because it's seasonal and it's good to see the different kinds of flowers for each specific season. So right now spring is quite in bloom, but I'm looking forward to coming back in summer to see the summer blooms. It's extraordinary.
My name is Amanda Wilkins, and I'm the garden curator here at Juniper Level Botanic Garden. It is day 2 of the first weekend of Spring Open House 2021. And it's such a nice day. Couldn't have asked for better weather. And it's not nearly as crazy as yesterday, which all of us were very surprised about. By 9 o'clock yesterday, we were slammed. The parking lot was full, the welcome tent, we couldn't keep people giving catalogs out fast enough. And most of the people, 80% of the people by lunchtime, one of the volunteers said 80% of the people, this was their first time coming.
It's designed so that when you walk through it, there's surprises everywhere you walk. And there's something new each place. You walk through one path. We incorporate an incredible amount of paths. that allows you to get up close to the plants. We want people to feel the plants, to touch the plants, to smell the plants, to see the plants, to listen to the plants. Use your senses. That's what most gardens don't allow people. We want you to do that. We want you to take home ideas. Bring your cameras, bring your phones, take pictures. It's all about sharing ideas. About 5 years ago, we began looking at how we would pass the gardens on, how we would keep this alive, because we're getting on up in years. We have gifted the entire property, everything we own, to NC State. We'll have lifetime rights, so we'll be here till we fall over and they wheel us out here in a wheelchair and then dump us in the garden as ashes. And so it's now, we're in the process of a transition. NC State set up an endowment at the university, so we have to be able to fundraise an operational endowment.
That endowment money is reliable money. You know it's coming year after year. Now, certainly part of the garden will be raising money in other ways, such as educational programs. The Juniper Level Botanic Garden staff is just filled with some of the most incredibly knowledgeable plants people and gardeners anywhere.
So this is a hybrid called Extraminia.
And, you know, plant sales and events and things like that will continue.
We've already started a joint symposium to fundraise both for the Arboretum and for our endowment. That will continue as an annual event. We have a rare plant auction that they administer, and then we ship all the plants. We will be doing more of their propagation here. We've got a new plant breeder just hired that will be working, and we will supply a lot of germplasm for that, as well as a lot of ideas of what plants can be made. So there's so much opportunities together to really have a synergistic effect from the two institutions. It's quite extraordinary. And by doing so, we will create the largest plant collection in the world between the two institutions. It's pretty cool. We hope people will give to the endowment because they want to preserve the gardens as a place for future generations to come, as a respite, as a place to preserve plant genetics. We have cancer researchers come out here and spend time collecting plants. So every plant here has the potential to solve a human illness. So to preserve those genetics, one of the largest collections in the world, I would hope people would find that important. There's just so many reasons. A garden is something different to every person. It's personal, but it's also looking forward to how do we benefit humankind? And I think we need to always have that at the forefront of our thoughts.
Pond here.
These people, they go out and find these plants. They grow these plants. They teach about the
Flower
plants.
is up or the leaf is up. Never the two shall meet.
They design with the plants. And the teaching and the designing and the talking about it and creating the passion, the speaking the words that keep people interested. That's what I want to support. Juniper Level is the end result of a whole lot of effort. It's a place of peace and quiet. and it's beautiful, and this is what the world needs.